Oh my gosh! Look! It's Godzilla! No, it's not, you fool. It's Gigantus, the fire monster. But it looks so much like Godzilla. No, that is Godzilla. That does not look like Godzilla, even though it is Godzilla. But, sir, it looks just like him. No, here in America, he is Gigantus, the fire monster. Hey guys, what's up? It's ET13 and welcome back to another video. Today, if you don't remember, from December 31st of last year, I started a series where I would rate all the Godzilla movies from my least favorite to my favorite. We're now continuing that 2 months later with Godzilla Raids Again, my 32nd favorite movie. However, with the release of Godzilla, the Planet Eater, and soon Godzilla King of the Monsters, these movies will be bumped down one movie until I get to the point where that one was, but I will do a video whenever it is I rated it. Also, please note, this is all my opinion, so if you have a different opinion, leave a comment down below what you think of this movie. I always am happy to read those comments. Anyway, let's get on with this review. But for the reason why this movie is my 32nd favorite, but now, it's 33rd on my list, I will go over these things. First, I will talk about the characters. Then I will talk about the story. Then I'll talk about monsters. And finally, we'll discuss the execution of this movie. To start off rating this movie, we will do... To start off on me rating on this movie, the characters of this movie are pretty much mirror characters of Godzilla 1954 with some slight adjustments. However, they are quote-unquote dumbed down just a little bit by their B-movie character development. However, in the original, it was more of a serious character development. Though they do have some fair moments that do add on good character development, it just doesn't get you to really understand these characters. You do, by the end, kind of like some of these characters, but it's not enough to get you to the point of, man, I love these characters. And there are only slight connections to the 54 movie. You do get Dr. Yamane returning, though his role in this movie is somewhat lacking because he is not really there, if you understand what I mean. But this does have better character development than the movie I reviewed prior to this one. And when I say that, I mean Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle. But still, it does not have the greatest characters. But this also does become a thing in the Godzilla movies, so it's kind of understandable. But the next part of this review will be... Now, the story is very interesting. I do like the idea of this movie. It really set up a lot for the future installments of this franchise. However, if you look at the English dub, it's a whole lot worse. Verin the Unbelievable quality bad. They replace Godzilla and Angus's roars. They change the dialogue. They make it weird. Really, the English dub of this movie is absolute garbage. Way worse than the actual movie, and that movie is very bad. But also, the beginning of this movie is very B-movie-esque for the 50s. Stock footage, atomic bombs, dinosaurs, all that jazz. But really, it's not absolute garbage. However, it's still not the greatest story. This was the first time for a 1v1 monster movie, so it's understandable. It's kind of had a rough start, and you can really look past that when you realize that, yeah, they couldn't really do much on a budget and less than 6 months of production. So, for what they had, I thought it was okay, but still, it is not very good whatsoever. I imagine this moment right here is what most of you have been waiting for. My talk about the monsters in this movie. Well, to start off, of course, this is Godzilla's second appearance. Starting off with, of course, Godzilla 1954 and now Godzilla Raids Again. However, this was the first outing of Anguirus, and it was Godzilla's first foe. Little did Toho know, in about 10 years, 20 years, I think about 10, Anguirus would become Godzilla's quote-unquote best friend. I believe that was said in the dub of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974. But let's get on with this. The suits were slimmed down a lot, so movement could be a lot easier, and fighting could be possible. However, the suits, I feel like, were so rushed that you can see all the defects in the suits, such as Anguirus's back literally falling apart in some shots of the movie because they were in such rushed production that they didn't have time to go back and retake scenes. They just had to go with what they got. Now, I do have to admit, these suits have something left to be desired, but the worst thing about the monster scenes is what happened with the camera. Apparently, a crewman accidentally sped up the footage by undercranking the camera, and something very weird happened. The monsters began to go faster. I feel like it's about 100 miles an hour. It looks so fake and unrealistic. There's two monsters in a city, and it looks like they're running through it, and it just does not look right compared to the towering, lumbering mass that Godzilla 54 was. However, I do have to admit these designs are okay. They're not horrible, yet they're not the greatest. They're just in the middle. They look good, but they're not amazing. And as you can see in my top 5 Godzilla designs, this one did not make it on the list. And now the final part of my raid of this movie, the execution. This movie, of course, is a learning curve for Toho, so you can't 100% say it was awful, but really it's bad. It is obviously rushed. They didn't have time to go back and fix it, so unlike 54, where all scenes were near perfect, these do look bad. As I said, the suits are falling apart in scenes. It ruins the idea of the realism of Godzilla. Now, I know Godzilla can't exist, but if you do take out that part, it does have some realism to it. Now, like I said, the characters aren't really interesting, but they'll go through, they'll live, most of them will, but they just become your regular, average, everyday Godzilla characters. Side characters don't know a whole lot about, but they do add on to the story. Now, as I said, the suits, the monster designs themselves are cool, but the suits leave something to be desired. And the story was alright. Toho, as I said, was way too rushed for this movie, but if it wasn't for this one, we wouldn't have the Godzilla history we have today. So, you have to give it a little credit there. But out of 5 stars, I give it a 0.0001 star. It's slightly better than City on the Edge of Battle, but it still is bad. But I can't entirely say it's bad because it is a key component to Godzilla's history on what he was and who he is. So, just for that fact, I'd say go watch it. If you don't want to watch it for that, just a fun movie, definitely do not watch this. It does not have a lot. So what did you think of my review? Comment down below what your thoughts of this movie are. I'd love to hear it. I always enjoy reading those comments. But, as always, don't let King Kong make a monkey out of you, G-fans. See ya. Thanks for staying till after the credits. Here is my quite obvious post-credit scene for the next movie I will be reviewing.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man! We're in his mouth! We're in